Hi there, this is Laura from Lottiejasminedesigns. I hope you're going to enjoy this. This is our vlog for an event that we went to see at the Birmingham NEC about a week ago now at Makerscentral. So this is some camera footage of where we stayed. So we went up the night before on the Friday and this is actually Weston Hall in Bedworth, Warwickshire. Here we go, entering the lovely, lovely building. Now, I'm a little bit obsessed, not just with gold metallic mica powders, but also with period buildings and all their internal decor, architecture and features. I couldn't also get over the fact that there's a piano, probably a baby grand, but look at this. I mean, we are so used to staying in really modern, pretty nondescript hotels. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them, but wow, a chance to stay somewhere like this with all its lovely features, a couple of nice cozy chairs there. Look at this side unit here with a marble top and all the inlay work. There we are. Here's they had this was sort of in the foyer part of the entryway to the hotel. A beautiful long mirror, gilt framed, and some notices there on what events they'd got coming up. And talking of events, that night, unbeknownst to us, they were having a 60s, 70s and 80s a dance, music, mini festival type thing going on. I was going to say a disco, but I don't think anybody has discos anymore. But look at this. So we had a quick sneak look in. This was starting much later on that evening. Really, really nicely decorated. It was a ticketed event, and apparently they do have other events going on through the summer at this particular hotel. But look at this. I mean, even the wallpaper, the panelling on the walls, these gorgeous units. Really, really nice. Just a little look. Sorry about all the slightly wobbly camera work, but this is the first time we've ever done a vlog. But here's a close-up of the beautiful marquetry work on the sides of the unit and the inlay. And look, walking back down, some really lovely artwork. It was quite a mix match of things. But very much you can imagine somebody having this as their stately manor house home. Absolutely beautiful. So here we are out into the gardens. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up. There's quite a lot of footage of the gardens of the hotel, but I just thought this is beautiful. Now, we're headed towards this structure, which is in the gardens. The gardens aren't massive, but they are beautiful. Lots of lovely trees and really, really nicely manicured lawns. And then you get little features like this. So this is, I mean, I am almost speechless. I would love to have a garden that was anywhere near big enough to have one of these kinds of structures. You can imagine going back 200 or 300 years, people meeting up, going and sitting there, you know, when things were done in just so a way, you know, in polite society and so on. But yeah, as I say, my imagination runs away with me. Beautiful, good, well-established trees. There were lots of different varieties. And look, can you see there directly in front? There's like some beautiful stone steps. Now, I don't know where they would have led to. And to be honest, they were almost at the boundary of the gardens. But, you know, we've also got a few close-up shots in this vlog. This is a rhododendron. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful colours. Really, really lovely. And here we go with a little bit more footage. It was very beautiful, very naturally beautiful. If you understand what I mean by that, and that's then looking back towards the hotel itself. Some more of these lovely lawns, lots and lots of picnic benches. So you could sit there, you could have a drink, you could have a meal outside. You also don't have to be resident at the hotel to eat and drink there or to visit. Look at this close-up shot here of this butterfly. Now this is, I believe, a red admiral. And there's a photo coming up. There we are. That's a better stills shot. That's the best one I managed to get. This particular butterfly did fly round and round Wayne's head, and a couple of times I wasn't quick enough, unfortunately. It did land on him, which amused me. So here we are walking back through the grounds. Again, lots of these lovely little paths through little wooded areas. So plenty of little places to walk. I believe also they are a dog-friendly hotel. Although, you know, if you're thinking of staying here, do just check that out on their website. So lots of places where you could take your little pooch for a walk. And just walking through a lovely wooden arch there towards another section of the gardens. It was almost like there was one big room, then another little room within the garden, and another smaller room within the garden. Here we are, there's another one of these lovely arches with ivy and foliage growing all up and over it. Bit of topiary there. Now that blue bush there on the far right of the screen is a ceanothus. I believe that's how you say it, ceanothus. Look at that, just panning round to have a look. Some lovely trellis. That's the back of the hotel. Not quite so pretty, that view, but we thought we'd show it. Look at these lovely little miniature blue flowers. Now, I don't know if they're forget-me-nots or not. They may be, of course. There we are. That's just another view. Again, lots of places and opportunities to sit down, rest, just enjoy the peace and quiet and the tranquility of your surroundings. There was lots and lots of bird song going on. You couldn't hear, well, we certainly couldn't hear any noise from traffic and so on, but this was beautiful. That plant there on the left with the red and green leaves, I believe is called a red robin. There we are. And here we go, just a bit more of, you know, some more of the grounds. This beautiful tree. I mean, how many hundreds of years old do we think that might be? I think with the flowers on it, I can see it could be a horse chestnut, maybe. Apologies if that's incorrect. I'm trying to remember back to my primary school biology. But there we go. Another view of that beautiful ragged robin. There we go. And they had this. Now this on the right there, that lamp, that was an old gaslight, street light. But again, you know, I mean, it's beautiful. There's a few rosemary bushes, some herbs, some more box hedging and topiary going on. And look at this. Now this was obviously a 3-tiered water feature at some point. And then what they've decided to do is to plant up a load of succulent plants or sedums. There we go, there's a still photo of it. Really looks effective. So a bit more, there you are. There's those old-fashioned gas lamps. And the beautiful wisteria, that's the pale violet coloured flower there. Now this is what I ate for my evening meal. And this is also not what I ate. This is what Wayne had as a starter. Lovely garlicky mushrooms, belly pork. I had the chili, seafood and tomato pasta. And this is what Hugo had. Now, he had prawns and chorizo, and then he had a lovely pizza. And then we all had a sticky toffee pudding with lots of sauce. So this is us arriving at Makers Central on the Saturday, and oh my gosh, what a fantastic model of one of the versions of the Batmobile. There was a lot of robots, cosplay. Look at that. Wow, steampunk R2-D2. And there's just a still shot there, a photo of that rather lovely robot. And here we are, your more regular R2-D2 with another couple of little friends. We've got a few of these still shots throughout this part of the video, of the vlog. But we were just fascinated by the amount of sci-fi, cosplay stands that were there, and you know, people willing to talk to you about how they did it, how they were made. A lot of very interesting information. Perhaps this one not quite so pretty. There was a really diverse range of things that you could see as well. I mean, we were drawn to this speedboat. Look at the woodwork, the finish, the polish, the varnish, the work within the engine itself as well. And the wooden steering wheel, and wow, you could fantasize James Bond films and so on. So here's a little bit of footage of us trying to make bath bombs with Chrissy from Sopea. There's her Instagram info for you. We had a great time doing this. I've never ever made bath bombs before, and this was free. She very kindly, it's free. I found out a couple of days later she was fully booked. Here we have some wooden Thor style mallets. Look at those. The work that goes into these. Now, they were a little bit pricey, but there was a lot of work that went into, and they are solid wood. Now, this was a stand with loads of lovely lampshades that you can design and make, and they make them for you, or you can buy kits and do it yourself. As I said again, a lot of this kind of thing was featured. And also this. Sorry, I should have warned you. Obviously, this isn't real. But it just shows you what you can make if you have the skills and the knowledge. This is a little bit of a sort of panning around looking at the VIP area. So if you bought VIP tickets, it gave you access to that area. There were a few food places where you could buy, food and drinks from. You were just panning around the area again. It was quite busy. Look at this. Who remembers Robot Wars? Look at them. And there you are, another stills photo of one of the Robot Wars machines, and another one. I used to love watching this. Really used to love watching this. We're just so interested by it all. And it was really nice to be able to get to see them up close and personal, without them moving, obviously. But yeah, and to find out some information from them. So this was a guy, and we were fascinated by what he was doing. He's using different attachments to I think it's a grinding tool. And that's a big piece of yew that he has then cut in half, and he's starting to hollow it out. He had to cut it in half. You can see the other part to the right-hand side there. Here we go. Here's more of a close-up. Now, he's drawn a pattern on there. That's the pattern he's going to carve out. That's the design. I mean, it's going to look... I mean, it looks stunning now, but it looks stunning when it's done. These were lots and lots of pictures made out of pebbles. This was another stall promoting lots of different kinds of crafts. And here we go with Mr. Steampunk R2-D2. I really loved him. Really just ingenious. They would just walk around with these robot models. It was quite sweet. Look at this. Now this, Turkish lamps. Now we did buy one of the Turkish lamps, and it looks really stunning in our hallway. Lots of little dishes. There's this place that made these signs. Those are just so incredibly talented. Every one of the exhibitors that was there. And here we are. This is a demonstration in conjunction with an artist called Roots and Pebeo Studio Acrylics. Now she's mixed up, or she's already got ready mixed paint pouring from one of their paint pouring kits. And she's going to do what they call a dirty flip cup. So you've got an empty cup there, which she's placed on her canvas board, and it's over a tray with it's just basically a cooling rack over the top of it. Now she's pouring in some white into the bottom of that plastic beaker cup, and then she's going to add this very vibrant red. Now these colours are a lot more vibrant than they were in real life. I think that's just the way it was coming over on camera. And then she's going in with some blue. There you go. Now, there are lots of different techniques that you can do for paint pouring. There are lots of artists that you can search for on YouTube. We have had a little go at it ourselves. It wasn't what I would call one of our most professional videos, let's just put it that way. And they were taken, I think just before COVID, so you're looking at about probably 4 or 5 years ago now. But to get back to this, all she's doing is she's putting multiple layers of the colours, and then she's turning the canvas board onto it, flipping it upside down, and then you're going to let gravity do its job. It is going to, all the paint is going to draw back down the cup. Now you can pierce it with a little hole if you want in the top, so it releases the vacuum of air, and then it will drop down a lot quicker. Or you can just, count 10, 20, 30, however long you want. I tend to give mine a little tap on the top with my fingers. And then all you're going to do is very carefully lift the cup up. So she's lifted her cup up and she's just moving it around the canvas. You can just lift it straight up, but carefully and slowly, steadily. Totally up to you what you do. There's also a lift and a flip that you can do. Now, all she's doing now is she's manipulating the paint around to the edges of the canvas board. And she's just doing this by tilting it slightly. There we go. Any paint that drips over the sides just drips into the tray where she's working over. Now, what I tend to do is, I don't like using canvas boards personally myself. I'd rather use canvas. It's the real, the actual canvas instead, over much deeper wooden frame. And I tape all the back of mine with the blue painter's tape. There we go. Look at that. That's her dirty flip cup paint pour. You can then go over this with some heat. She's using a heat tool. You can use a torch, a creme brulee type torch. If you're going to do that, do not hold the flame really close to the paint because you will burn it. And all this does now, what it does is introducing the heat, gets all those cells to come up to the top. Now, this particular kind of paint from their paint pouring experience kit has already got silicone mixed in it, but you can add silicone yourself if you want to make up your own version of this. Now, at this point, she was just popping in a little bit of glitter because she liked a little bit of sparkle. You don't have to do that at all. But that looks rather nice. Now, obviously, it's up to you what colours you use. And then she moved it to one place so it could then dry. They usually take between 2 and 4 days to dry. That's my personal experience. This demonstration now, she was going to do a swipe. Now, she's being very generous with the colour, the amount of paint that she's using. And obviously, it was running off the edges down into the drip tray below, which is fine. So she's got orange, she's got yellow, she's going in with the red. This is called a swipe now, and it'll all become obvious soon as to why it's called a swipe. There are lots of other techniques. You can do galaxy pours, you can do ribbon pours. Oh gosh, what other ones can you do? Balloon dips, balloon flowers, chain pull. Yeah, it's just there are a lot that of things you can do. A travelling ring pour. Yeah. So what she got there now? So we've got the orange, we've got the yellow, we've got that reddy pink colour, we've got a deep blue, we've got a light sort of lime green, and we've got a paler blue there at the end, almost at the end. And then she's going in with a darker blue again. Now, she's just moving that darker blue just over to the edges. Do make sure that all your edges are completely covered in paint. There we go. So on that far right hand side there, she's got a bare piece, a strip of canvas board. What she's doing now, she's pouring on black. There we go. She's poured on the black. Now in the black, there is possibly some more silicone being added, and she's just smoothing it out there. Now, this now will become obvious as to why it's called a swipe. Roots has decided to use some kitchen paper. And all she's doing is getting the edge of the very edge of the kitchen paper just to touch that black. Only the black. And then she's going to pull it across towards the left-hand side of the canvas. So she's encouraging the black to go through the other colours. Now, obviously, the further you go along, the lighter the black's going to be. Now, if you're not happy with that, you can go over it again. You can get another piece of kitchen towel and pull it over again. She's also now applying the heat again using her heat tool. Again, you can use a torch if you want, but do not do it too close to the canvas or you'll burn the paint. And you can see all those little cells just popping up. Now, over a period of time, short period of time, you'll get more and more. And if you apply more heat, you'll get even more and more. Now, the black, in my opinion, is overtaking the canvas. So, what Roots is doing now, Roots obviously being the artist, is she's going to tilt the canvas downwards, which stretches out some of those cells. Can you see them stretching along the top? And obviously then you can see then that because she's done that, the black has then gone off of the bottom of the canvas. I really love those blues and greens. I think they're fantastic. Now, if you're happy with that, then you're happy with that. You could go over it again with a heat tool and then you can leave it to cure. Now, what she was then talking about was the fact that basically, if you've got an object in your house that's a solid object, you can paint pour over it. You don't have to just limit yourself to paint. You could also use resin. Obviously, make sure that you take all the appropriate measures, whether you're using paint or resin. You wear gloves, you wear a respirator mask if you're using resin, and that you obviously work in a well-ventilated area. Do wear old clothing too, because obviously you get paint on your clothing, you get resin on your clothing, you're not going to get it out. So what she's used here, she's used a split cup, which is a cup or a little mini jug with lots of different sections to it. She's topped it up with some different colours and then she's just pouring it round. This is just a ring pour over an object. And can you see that? The way the colours have just sort of melded together and then they're just working their way down the object. Now, I have done this over vases, glass vases, ceramic vases. I've done it and made some really lovely stunning Christmas baubles as well. There we go. So then obviously if you want, then you leave that to cure and to dry completely. Now, sometimes depending on where you live, the colder the climate, the longer it will take to cure. The thicker the paint, the longer it will take to cure. The other thing just to mention is when you're doing paint pouring on canvas boards or canvas, do make sure that you don't leave too much paint on your canvas. Otherwise, when it dries, it may risk cracking and that would be awful. It got ruined. So these were some other things that they had done and made. And here we have a few pictures and stills of other things that we saw whilst we were walking around the exhibition. There we go. Really had a fantastic day. This Posca pens, wow. These were 10 for £25 and you got a free case to put them in. It took us rather a long time to decide what we wanted. Here is our final shot now. This is the Batmobile. We're leaving at this point, but thanks again. I hope you've enjoyed this. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.